Hey YouTube, how's it going? VenomMan20 here today. Just like the title says, we're about to check out one of the largest crocodilian and venomous collections I've ever filmed. Pretty excited about it. I can't wait to go back down there and see it again. The trip took me right at 16 hours. During editing this video, I realized that I messed up a lot. There is a couple places where I put some misinformation. I was wrong. If you guys find any of those, leave the comment down below and set the story straight. I know I've noticed a couple. You guys might even notice more, so just let everybody know that I'm not perfect. I was exhausted and I messed up quite a bit. Anyway, here's that video. I'm at Reptile Lagoon in South Carolina, right at south of the border. If you're ever inside the area, please come check this place out. It is absolutely insane. So anyway, let's go inside and check some stuff out. So one of the first things you're going to see is this massive male American alligator. This guy's only about 10 foot long, so he will grow to be quite a bit bigger. I think this guy's absolutely amazing. He's got those nice big osteoderms on the back. He just woke up from a nap. Unfortunately, I woke him up. So we're going to walk out here. We'll get a little bit closer to these guys on the other side. But if you look over to the right hand of the screen, that is a Cuban Nile hybrid. That was an accidental breeding. That was not on purpose. And then the other one is a pure-blooded Nile Croc on the left. So these guys got a big, nice pool. We'll get to see them again here shortly. Right here we have a beautiful male Morelets Croc. According to the people that work here, he is actually one of the more jumpy animals, for lack of a better term. This guy's pretty explosive and just kind of hard to work at times. Then we got his beautiful female right down here, so the water front and center looking at us, hoping that we possibly have food. We're just seeing what we're doing. It's the Morelets Crocodile. You've seen me work with those. Brutus, my pet Morelets. I shouldn't call him a pet, but my croc is a Morelets. This is a beautiful animal. This is a slender snouted crocodile. These guys are from Africa, and they're actually talking about dividing the species. I do believe it's east and a west, if I'm not mistaken, when they divide the species. I could be wrong on that, though. This locality, if it is divided, will be one of the rarest crocs on Earth. I just love that slender snout of the Cataphractus, his scientific name. Beautiful animal. Love the plants and the decor. Just gorgeous around here. Absolutely love this place. Then we have Paleosuchus trigonatus, or the Snyder's smooth-fronted caiman. Second smallest crocodilian in the world, unless you consider the West African dwarf croc could be a little bit smaller. I don't know. It's up for debate. There's always big individuals of each species, so. Very cool. They actually have the biggest osteoderms of any crocodilian comparative to size, I should say. And right here are the Siamese Crocs. The big one is the male, the small one is the female. Absolutely gorgeous. These guys are notoriously, I'm going to say the word aggressive, but jumpy or defensive is a better term. But these guys are actually quite laid back. They've been trained, worked with quite regularly. But beautiful, beautiful animal. Highly endangered. Really need conservation help. Just very, very cool animals. Guys getting huge, up to 14, 15 foot, possibly bigger. Just monsters. That's so beautiful. One thing I do love, I will mention, is the fact that they do the sand substrate. A lot of croc parks do like concrete and stuff like that. The sand is actually like a cushion. If they don't have the sand, their skull will actually kind of splay, or their teeth will kind of splay, and just doesn't make for a healthy animal in my opinion. So I love the fact that they have the nice sandy banks to lay on. Here we're a little bit closer to the Nile Croc on that side and the Nile Cuban hybrid. Not one to focus. Too close, camera won't focus, but beautiful, beautiful croc. Cuban, of course, being one of the most beautiful crocs of any, in my opinion. I mean, just gorgeous animal. Going through this little cave, watch your head. You're as tall as me. you definitely knock yourself out. Beautiful rhino viper. Get that to focus. There we go. Gorgeous animal. Gray banded king snakes. Not something that you typically see in the pet trade anymore. Kind of finicky eaters at times, or can be. Amazon tree boa. Beautiful guy. Look at it. Then we have a Texas indigo snake. I actually mistaken this for a black-tailed Caribou. I'm the one that's looking uneducated over here, but you know, stuff happens. Can't be right all the time. I'm still learning just like everybody else. Trans-Pecos copperhead. Beautiful snake. They just kind of reclassified these guys. But, well, these actually weren't part of the reclassification, but the Equestrum contortrix, the copperheads in general are being reclassified, I should say. Beautiful Gila monster, one of the only venomous lizards in the world, or truly venomous, have venom glands and everything. Blue-tongued skink kind of hiding back there. Don't know if you can see him. He's kind of blurry. Just see his butt. It's a beautiful rainbow boa. Brazilian rainbow boa. The Colombian rainbow boas aren't quite as pretty, ain't quite as iridescent. Here's the other venomous lizard, the beaded lizard. This is actually bigger than the Gila monster. These guys can get up to about 4 feet long. These actually live down in Mexico. Quite beautiful. Come over here. This is a snake that I absolutely love. The Argentine boa. A lot of these nowadays are being hybridized with like the Colombian boas, and they're just not nearly as pretty. I hate hybridization because this is a gorgeous animal. This is pure-blooded Argentine boa. Got a little children's python up here, kind of common in the pet trade. Another common one, ball python, and I'm guessing a blue-eyed Lucy ball python, or a super Mojave, I think, to be pure white. I'm not sure. I'm not good with those guys. Madagascar giant hognose. These guys are rear fang venomous, just lightly venomous. They're probably one of the biggest hognose species, which I don't know that they're actually closely related to our hognose, the American hognose, like the western, eastern Great Plains. But they have the same characteristic. They're colubrids, all in the same. Nice blood pythons, beautiful red, gorgeous animals. One of my favorite color-wise is the albino gopher snake back there. Let me zoom in on him. I love that. That white is almost like an ivory. Just gorgeous. This right here, the emerald tree boa. Beautiful snake. Looks a lot like the green tree pythons. Very, very cool. Red-tailed green rat. Very cool colubrid, if you're into keeping colubrids. Just very neat. A white-lipped viper. Focus. Maybe too much glare. Yeah. Beautiful snake, not too toxic. I don't want to say that too nonchalantly. They are toxic. They are quite toxic, but not horribly toxic. Big Bend milk snake. Can't really see him. He's back up underneath that log. He's hiding, doing what snakes do best. So this is a hybrid saltwater Siamese croc. This could actually, the males typically get just massive. They're kind of like the liger. They don't really think that they have like the stop growth hormone. So the hybrids can actually get bigger than the true saltwater or true Siamese. I'm not a big fan of hybrids, but it's interesting seeing an animal that could get possibly 20, 22 foot long. Breathing a little heavy. Hears me talking about them. And of course we got American alligators. And a yellow belly slider out there. Those guys are pretty safe. They actually have a thicker plastron than most turtles because they live naturally alongside alligators, and it's kind of to cut back on the predation. There's quite a few guys out there basking. Let's go look at the only other United States crocodile naturally found, not invasive. This is the American crocodile, one of my favorite. Very cool animal. The keeper of this guy actually mentioned that he kind of plays tricks on it. He'll go down into the water and he'll splash real big. And I think crocodilians to a degree have a sense of humor. Some people disagree, but if you've been working with them for 15, 20 years, you might agree they're real characters. This guy's got some really big osteoderms on the back there. They'll really cut up your legs if you ever have to jump one. Hopefully you guys never have to. But working with crocodilians is a thing that sometimes has to happen. Just beautiful. I love this guy. These guys are endangered. Hopefully they'll be off the endangered species list soon. I'm not sure how soon. They're coming back quite well. They're native to like Costa Rica and also down southern tip of Florida and you know, other parts of South America that I can't name right off the top of my head. But very cool. Here's a Krugersdorf caiman, the smallest crocodilian species in the world. Very cool. This guy's not full grown, but he's about half grown, as you can see. Not too big. They get about 4 foot, but they're very shy. It's almost like keeping a fish. You can't really touch them, you can't really mess with them. They don't do well. It's a fly river turtle, or a pig-nosed turtle. These are from, I do believe, Australia. Possibly, what, Papua New Guinea? I'm not 100% sure on that. But these guys live in rivers. Just a very interesting little face. I didn't realize I wasn't even zooming in on him. I was focusing off someplace else. Cute little guys. Not a lot of focus. It's a dwarf crocodile. These guys are on the endangered species list. This is the smallest true crocodilian species, about 4 to 5 feet. But quite snappy, a lot of them are. Very quick, but very cute. We have this guy, just a little Morelets crocodile. Nothing too crazy, but pretty cute nonetheless. Look at this awesome enclosure right here. All the live ferns, all the live plants. There's a little painted turtle in there, as you see right there. And we also have the endangered spotted. Gorgeous turtle. Over here, America's largest freshwater turtle, the alligator snapping turtle. With a bite force comparable to an adult male alligator. Crazy bite force. Take a finger clean off if need be. Might have to be a little bit bigger than that guy, but he would do some damage. Here's a Johnson's crocodile. Or as Steve Irwin used to call him, a freshwater crocodile. Or a little freshie. These guys are quick, snappy, agile, and amazing. I highly recommend, if any of you guys are close to south of the border, up at the northern part of South Carolina, to come check this place out. It is absolutely incredible. They have a great staff here that take wonderful care of the animals. They're truly passionate. But these guys, the dwarf crocodiles, I showed you the smaller one earlier. This is what they turn into. The big guy back there, he's a beast. It may be 5 foot long. Actually, a female built this nest and she constructs that nest all the time. And they actually have hatched out some eggs here recently, which is pretty amazing. Figuring they're an endangered species, it's a great help towards conservation. That's another great part of this facility, is they turn a lot of their money, a lot of their finances over to conservation. They truly try to help out the endangered crocs. And a big King Cobra. I mean, his weight is insane. He's as thick as my arm. Just a big guy. This is not a true cobra species. If you actually study it a little bit, king cobras are one of their own, but they do have a, not necessarily a hood, but a flattened part of the neck where they hood up. It's a nice sized gaboon viper. I don't know if you guys can see it with my reflection, but he's doing a rapid eye twitch. They speculate that in the wild that they do this so then prey items will come down close enough that they can have one of the most explosive strikes. If a bird was to come down thinking that was a worm or a cricket, he would have that bird no problem. They're ambush predators. They sit and wait. Let's go ahead and jump back over here to one of my favorites, the New Guinea Croc. It's a gorgeous animal. Nice yellow head. Hey, sweetheart. Focusing on the fence, not the animal. New Guinea Crocs are kind of cool because they actually started protecting them. They no longer allow export out of New Guinea. So live animals can no longer come out of the country. Unfortunately, they use them for like skin trade and stuff, so they don't want live animals coming out of the country and people breeding them elsewhere. So they're completely shut down. So they're actually becoming quite rare in zoos nowadays. Just a good looking animal. Like I said, I love the sand and the rocks. They use the rocks for digestion, so it's very important that they have them in their diet or have them in their enclosure. The appropriate size and smooth stones. Chinese alligator. There's said to be less than 300 of these left inside the wild, so they're highly endangered, but they do quite well in captivity. These guys stay much smaller than the American alligator. It's about full grown. They get a little bit bigger than that, but not much. And that's probably a 4.5, 5 foot animal. So if that puts it in perspective. Let's bounce back over here. We missed a couple. Here's Cottonmouth adamantius, the eastern diamondback rattlesnake, the biggest venomous snake in North America. These guys are quite interesting. Those guys are pretty big too. I might have to show you a hand comparison here in a second. That big green anaconda. Nothing huge, but good size. And a beautiful Burmese python. They get a bad rep down in the Everglades, but honestly, they're a pretty decent snake. They just get relatively large. So if you used to get one as a pet, you'd need to be ready for it. Like I said, let's show off the size if we can to a degree. See, they're pretty thick. This is probably the biggest yellow anaconda I've ever seen. The one down into the water dish, that thing is a monster. It's probably 9.5, 10 foot, maybe a little bit bigger, I'm not sure. I was told that they were both old snakes. They've been in captivity for a long time. Probably captive born and bred, to be downright honest. But here's one of my favorites, the Gusticeps, Dendroaphis and Gusticeps, East African green mamba. Beautiful snake, very toxic. But this is a big one. Yet again, relatively large, but very beautiful. A lot of people here in America call this the Yukari caiman or Jacare caiman. Many different names. Just depends where you're from, how you pronounce it. I'm going to say Yukari. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Very beautiful. Those bottom spots on the jaw are just absolutely gorgeous. Over here we have sulcata tortoises, which aren't out right now. They're the most common tortoise in pet trade, I would say, or one of the most common. But this guy right here is a monster. This guy's a beast. He actually came into the country, I do believe, 1974, 1973 at this size. So he's very old. But he has that perfect shell. It's back in those days, these guys weren't really captive bred. They were wild caught. But nowadays, needless to say, with captive breeding, these guys are a dime a dozen. This is a very interesting cottonmouth or water moccasin display. There they are. A common misnomer. I'm going to say it. I'll say it 1,000 times until I'm blue in the face. These guys don't chase people, ever. They never do. Sometimes people are standing between the water and them, and these guys go to the water to stay safe. But honestly, they never chase anybody. They might run to the water and you might be in the way, but they're not chasing you. I've worked with them for years and never once had one come towards me out of aggression. So go ahead, get in the comments, argue, I'm fine with that, whatever. I'll take care of it, address each comment. But this is a beautiful white phase retic, about 22 feet long, absolute monster. Beautiful, beautiful snake. I love the white phase retics. It's interesting because the normal albino parents can produce lavender, white phase, and the, what is it, the amelanistic? I'm probably saying that wrong. But they can produce all three offspring just being, you know, either lavenders or white phase, or they're all interchangeable, kind of like the California king snakes. So let's go ahead and go see the venomous. So here's one of the main, or the main venomous room. Of course there's venomous in other parts of the facility, but that's a beautiful eyelash viper back there. Gorgeous animal. Not the perfect lighting to take pictures of her, but just good looking. There we have some Carolina red pygmy rattlesnakes. That's just a locality. The reason they change red, or they shouldn't say change red, they're born red, but it's a certain county in Carolina that has the red pygmies. It's an Arizona black rattlesnake. They can turn completely jet black. But I do believe these guys are going to be thrown on the endangered species list here soon if they're not already. They're just being wiped out. If I'm not mistaken, it's the wildfires that's getting to them, but I can't remember. I could be wrong on that. This is a Papuan death adder. Death adder is one of the most toxic snakes in the world. I think like 9th most toxic. Just ridiculously toxic. There's one that's at the back. I don't know if you guys see it. There's a little head just poking up. There you go. Very quick striking. Just like the gaboon viper, very fast. This is the black-tailed rattlesnakes. There's 3 of them in here that I see, and they're all kind of front and center. A beautiful snake. They get very large. This is probably the biggest mangrove snake I've ever seen. This guy is just a beast. I don't know, he's beautiful. But then over here we have the timber rattlesnakes, Morelets horridus. Absolutely beautiful black phase animals. These guys unfortunately are threatened through most of their range. It's a real shame people poach these guys, yet these guys hide and try to stay as elusive as humanly possible, or snakily possible, whatever. You know, they get poached for no real reason. These guys don't bite people unless they accidentally step on them. So give the snake some respect and they'll respect you in return. This is a canebrake rattlesnake, which is kind of like a southern variation, for lack of a better term. These guys are extremely toxic. They've actually been doing studies on the venom. I learned while I was here that there is a, kind of like the Mojave, there's an A and there's a B type venom. They're now saying that the A type venom could possibly be as toxic drop for drop as like a taipan. They're possibly one of the most toxic snakes in the world. And it's all kind of a locality. They originally thought it was a locality thing, but now they're saying that the cage mates, or the litter mates, one litter can have 2 different types of venom. One snake will have A, one snake will have B. One of them's extremely neurotoxic, or I do believe cytotoxic, and the other one's hemotoxic, which is interesting. Read more into that. I might have got that wrong. I do from time to time, like I said earlier. Crotalus basiliscus, which is the Mexican West Coast rattlesnake. These guys are big, awesome. Ones I've worked with are relatively calm for such a big rattlesnake, because big rattlesnakes can be dangerous. Crotalus ruber, if I'm pronouncing that right, which is the red diamond rattlesnake. These are now protected. They're no longer allowing wild caught specimens, so it's only captive bred specimens are allowed. This is one of my favorites, all-time favorite snake right here, Naja annulipera, which is the banded snouted cobra. These guys are gorgeous. I love the bands. And I'll actually be posting some pictures of some babies of these that are just spectacular animals on my Instagram. If you go down below and check out the link to my Instagram account, I think you'll enjoy it. Zebra spitting cobras, beautiful snake, but they like to spit, or a lot of them do. Maybe these don't, but most of them do. got those huge venom glands. They can spit directly inside your eye from quite a distance. Molted rock rattlesnake. Right here, the Cobra. It's Corylus lepidus. Might have got that wrong, my bad. Beautiful snakes. Hot little guys though, very toxic. This is probably one of my favorite jumping vipers I've ever seen. This guy is extremely dark. It's right here. They have like a keeled scale. They call them jumping vipers because I do believe originally they thought that these guys were Bothrops mugini. Bothrops mugini is the true jumping viper. Those guys can fly, but these guys are relatively calm. They're not too crazy, but very neat. Not too toxic. This is an Atheris species. I'm honestly not familiar with this Atheris species. Like, I've heard of it, but I've never really did any research. So I'll leave that for you guys to learn. I don't want to tell you wrong information on that. Beautiful snake though. Black and white spitting cobra. One of my favorites. They're crazy, kooky, neat, beautiful. All the above. There's a fierce broadly eye. It's actually to the very back. I don't know if I can get him on camera. Step up here a little bit. I like the broadly eye. They remind me a lot of the squamagers. This is a beautiful puff adder, big guy too. Puff adder being one of the most toxic snakes in Africa. This is probably the one I would not want to get bit by. One of my favorites, also Bothrops arutu, or the Bothrops alternatus, I should say, the arutu. Very toxic Bothrops, but beautiful. I love the markings. It's a hard snake to come by here in America nowadays. And then the Northern Pacific rattlesnake. Beautiful, beautiful snake. I just absolutely love their venomous collection and their venomous room. So clean, so beautiful, so well kept.
So thank you for watching that. Before you guys leave my channel, I just wanted to make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. That way you'll never miss a video from me because I'm not really on a set schedule anymore. I'm so busy with the Nature Center and everything. This coming week, I'm going to have a pretty awesome video. I might have had a couple stowaways come back with me, so hope you guys are looking forward to that. It will be an unboxing video. Anyway, make sure you subscribe, show all your friends, share it. Thank you. Have a great day.